Hi guys, welcome to another week of Wellness Wednesday. Today I've got Laurie Anderson and we're going to talk about how she uses the 6 C's in her classroom.
All right, thank you. Well, Alpine School District has a vision for learning where we talk about the skills and the dispositions with the 6 C's, and we try to make that a culture in our 7th grade art classes. So we have come up with a little form that talks about how artists use the different 6 C's, and then the students each day have a little art talk sheet where they can track if they're using communication skills or if they're using collaboration skills, and so they have kind of fun with that. We also have a little sketch note sheet, and every 2 weeks they get a new one. So far we've worked on communication and critical thinking. I like to start with the communication because I really want them to start to talking and writing about art in the very, very beginning. So we do different little activities. The 7th graders need lots of examples. Okay, so when we're talking about communication, we tell them that 94% of communication is body language. So when they're in a classroom, they need to sit up straight and make eye contact and let us know if they're understanding what they're hearing. Okay, so we talk about communication being two-way. It's not just speaking, but those in the audience, you have a responsibility also.
Absolutely.
We usually have objectives today. For instance, in communications, said I might talk like an artist. I might write like an artist. I can create like an artist when we do art, so we can communicate in all different ways. We've also been working on critical thinking. Okay, so thinking out of the box, problem solving, different types of things like that. So just an example today, they had to pretend like that they were applying for a job with the New York Times. And so they had to critique another student's work and tell what they did well and why and give evidence, and what they could fix and why and give evidence also.
I love that. It makes it very authentic.
Yeah. At the same time, they have to use the art vocabulary words. And as soon as you say vocabulary, they tend to tune out.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to let them know, for instance, if you would like to apply for a job as a mechanic and you walked in and said, you know, I want to be a mechanic because I want to work on those things underneath of the hood that make the car go. Without art vocabulary, you're never going to get hired for that job.
Yeah.
Okay, so the same thing. If you're applying for a science job, you need to talk about science vocabulary. So it's really, really important skill.
Yeah.
We do lots of critiques with each other. So for our critical thinking skills, we do different kinds of projects like being a robotics inventor and inventing things for critical thinking.
Nice.
We do use things from the taxonomy of difficulty in art, and I'm sure it's different in other ones, but creating is really big for us, so we do lots of creating.
Yeah.
This is a fun little assignment where you pick a verb, or you pick a noun and a verb, and then you have to make a picture out of it. So the words,
awesome.
the words for this one were melting snow creatures.
All right.
And so we put all different kinds of media out for the students. Here's paper towel they ripped up and different types of things. So just using those critical thinking skills, how can I use this?
And that's creative as well.
It is. And so you can think about we do lots of drawings, but obviously here's a great one Hannah and I could do together.
Oh, I
It's
love
called the kinetic sculpture. Okay, so definitely has good creative thinking skills and critical thinking, and it says we need to build something that moves in 2 different ways and is artistic.
I love that.
Okay, and I've seen people using hair blowers to get it to move, put it on wheels and pushing it.
Awesome.
So really deep critical thinking skills.
Yeah.
Collaboration skills with other students. We do that quite a bit. We talk about being teamwork. One of the things that my students really like, and this can be done in every class, is they get to come up to my desk, use my microphone, and be an artist, an expert. And as soon as I say the word expert, who wants to be an expert? Everyone wants to be an expert. So they all raise their hand and they want to come up and they want to talk about how you could improve or do better on something and what you did well.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it is. So just so many things. Finding meaning in artwork is really a critical thinking. And then how can you create meaning in your artwork? Mm-hmm. So apply the things that we're using in class. reflecting on your assignments. You could do that in any class.
Yeah.
Once you're done, man, what did I do well? What could I repeat and do well again? What things would I do different if I was doing it over again? So as we mentioned, we really want to make this a culture with our 7th grade art students. So no matter who teaches 7th grade art, they're getting some of these skills, and we encourage them, when you walk out these doors at 9:25, are you going to stop using communication skills?
Right.
No. It's a lifelong thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you get a job, when you visit with family, when you visit with friends. So we want to instill in them that this is not only a now type of thing, this is a forever thing.
Absolutely. And it's not, I mean, you're using it beautifully in art. I love that you've embedded it in everything you're doing, but I mean, how easy would it be to replace, I'm a scientist or an engineer or an author, whatever it is, and just, I mean, these 6 things are not just skills for art. These are skills for life.
They are skills
for
life.
So I think it's a fantastic thing that we should all be thinking about, using this vocabulary and like reminding kids how they're using it, because that goes back to that clarity that we had talked about and how important that is. Sorry, I'm touching your stuff here. But
No problem.
Another thing I just wanted to, I think the idea of students reflecting on their own participation in the skill building process is a massive part of like recognizing mistakes and getting better at it. So I just love everything you're doing. I think you are just the ideal teacher. You're just doing it all right.
Thank you. One more thing on creativity. I used to spend weeks and weeks and weeks trying to get it through their head. What's creativity? And I've just found, if you just say, you know what, you want something that's unique, different than your neighbors, and hold up a few things. Okay, so for instance, here's an example. I said our goal is to start with a circle. Out of these 3 things, which one do you think is most creative, unique, and original? And then all of a sudden, it just takes like 5 minutes for them to realize what's creativity. Oh, it has details. It's something different than my neighbor's doing. And so anyway, we have a lot of fun with creativity in art.
Awesome. And I think there is a misconception that creativity, like you have to just generate it out of air, when really in reality, the most creative people get inspiration from things like examples. So I think that's fantastic. Good. Is there anything else that you wanted to?
No, I just said that behavior has been so much better using these. When we talk about, audience, it's your responsibility to look and listen and let me know if I'm ready to move on. If I keep repeating things, it's because you're not letting me know your understanding.
Right.
So if you want to move that class along, you just look and listen and give us a thumbs up and we'll move along.
I love that. The buy-in is so important.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you so much for your time.
Hey,